Marcus Chen unwrapped his turkey sandwich with the same casual indifference he'd shown when boarding the transport to Kepler Station 3 days ago. Around him, the testing chamber hummed with tension as thick as the recycled air. 200 of the galaxy's brightest minds, Zephyrians with their crystalline neural networks, void runners with computational abilities that could process quantum mathematics in real time, and hegemony scholars whose collective intelligence had built interstellar civilizations, all sat in perfect, rigid silence. Marcus took a bite and chewed thoughtfully. Proctor Vexithera's compound eyes tracked the human's movement with barely concealed disgust. The insectoid being's mandibles clicked in what passed for their species' version of contempt. In her 3 centuries of administering the Galactic Aptitude Protocol, she had never witnessed such casualness. The gap wasn't just an examination. It was the gateway to the Cosmic Academic Consortium, the most prestigious institution of learning in known space. Failure meant a lifetime barred from advanced galactic society. "Candidate Chen," Vexithara's voice dripped through the universal translator with acidic precision. "I trust you understand the gravity of this assessment?" Marcus looked up from his sandwich, a small crumb clinging to his lower lip. "Sure do. Mind if I eat while we work? Skipped breakfast?" A collective gasp rippled through the chamber. The Zephyrian nearest to Marcus, a being whose home planet's entire culture revolved around academic reverence, actually recoiled. Their crystalline form flickered with shocked indignation. Vexithera's thorax expanded in what her species considered deep, calming breaths. "The examination will test multidimensional mathematics, temporal physics, xenobiological analysis, and hyperspace navigation theory. The failure rate among your species is 97%. Perhaps you should focus." "Sounds good," Marcus said, taking another bite. "When do we start?" The proctor's mandibles snapped shut with a sharp click. "You'll fail," she smirked, an expression that looked particularly unsettling on her chitinous features. "Begin." The holographic displays materialized instantly. Complex equations spiraled through 3-dimensional space, quantum probability. Matrices shifted and morphed like living things, and theoretical star charts demanded navigation through 17-dimensional space-time. Around the chamber, beings with evolved brains and enhanced cognitive abilities hunched over their workstations with desperate intensity. Marcus glanced at his display, took a long sip from his coffee thermos, and began tapping answers with his free hand. The first section involved calculating the gravitational resonance needed to slingshot a vessel around a collapsing neutron star while avoiding temporal displacement. The Void Runner. 3 seats down, a species that had mastered interstellar travel before humans discovered fire, was sweating profusely, their 6 arms working frantically across multiple input arrays. Marcus finished the section in 12 minutes and returned to his sandwich. Vexithera watched the human's casual progress with growing unease. Her administrative implant chimed softly. Preliminary scores were being calculated in real time. The human couldn't possibly be. The second section materialized: xenobiological adaptation scenarios. Candidates had to design life support systems for 17 different hostile environments, accounting for atmospheric composition, radiation levels, and exotic matter interactions. The hegemony scholars, beings whose collective intelligence had literally written the textbooks on environmental adaptation, formed think clusters, their minds linking in desperate collaboration. Marcus considered a particularly tricky problem involving silicon-based organisms in high-gravity methane storms. He took a thoughtful bite of turkey, glanced at the molecular diagrams, and input his solution. The system accepted it immediately. By the third section, temporal physics and causality manipulation, even the Zephyrians were showing signs of strain. Their crystalline matrices flickered with overheated calculations, and several had begun the low harmonic humming that indicated Severe cognitive stress. Marcus had finished his sandwich and moved on to an apple. "This is impossible," whispered the Void Runner, his primary voice box crackling with exhaustion. Marcus glanced over sympathetically. "The temporal stuff? Yeah, it's tricky. The key is remembering that causality isn't actually linear. It's more like—" He gestured vaguely with his apple core. "Like a ball of yarn. You can untangle it if you know which thread to pull." The Void Runner stared at him with 8 compound eyes. That's actually brilliant. How did you—" "Marcus Chen." Vex Thera's voice cut across the chamber like a plasma blade. Her administrative implant was now chiming constantly. "Report to the evaluation station immediately." Marcus shrugged and wandered over, finishing his apple along the way. Around him, some of the galaxy's most advanced beings were still struggling with problems he'd completed 20 minutes ago. Vexathera's mandibles clicked rapidly as she reviewed the preliminary data. "Your scores are irregular. Bad irregular. Or good irregular? Perfect." The word seemed to cause her physical pain. Every section, every question, perfect scores across all parameters. Her compound eyes fixed on him with laser intensity. "How?" Marcus tossed his apple core into a nearby waste recycler and considered the question. "Well, the math is pretty straightforward once you account for quantum uncertainty. The biology stuff is just applied chemistry. And the temporal physics—" He shrugged. "My grandmother was a physicist. She used to say time was just another dimension, like height or width. Made it easier to visualize." "Your grandmother?" "Yeah. Taught me calculus when I was 8. Said if I was going to play video games, I might as well understand the math behind the graphics rendering." Marcus glanced around the chamber at the struggling candidates. "Is there more? Or can I grab lunch? I'm thinking pizza." Vexathera's thorax deflated slowly. In 3 centuries of academic administration, she had never encountered anything like this. The human hadn't just passed the most challenging assessment in galactic space. He'd done it while eating lunch, chatting with other candidates, and displaying all the academic seriousness of someone solving a children's puzzle. "Candidate Chen," she said finally, "welcome to the Cosmic Academic Consortium." Marcus grinned. "Cool. Do they have good food in the cafeteria?" As he walked out, still casual as ever, the remaining candidates watched in stunned silence. The galaxy's most advanced minds had just been schooled by a human who treated the universe's greatest intellectual challenges like a pleasant way to pass time over lunch. Vexathera made a note in her administrative log. "Recommend immediate review of assessment protocols. Human cognitive approaches require further study. Also recommend better cafeteria options for Earth-origin species." The universe, it seemed, was about to become a much more interesting place.